We black and we lit and now our holiday legit. I said we black and we lit and now our holiday legit. One time, we black and we lit and now our holiday legit. What is going on, fam? Happy Juneteenth. By the time you gonna hear this, it is absolutely the blackest day of the year. So happy Juneteenth to all of you. How are you, niece? How are you, nephew? I hope you good. Everybody is absolutely pulling up to the house today because it is such a special day. And yes, today is Juneteenth when you're gonna hear this, but not, of course, Juneteenth when I recorded this. But we're not gonna do that. How are you, fam? How are you? I am doing well today. I promise I will not complain, even though I could. You know, as a quick little check-in before we get on into this beautiful episode I have for you guys today, I just wanted to let you guys know that, you know, it's okay some days to not have the words to figure out how you feel, but it's okay to feel the feelings. You know what I mean? Like, I realized with what I've been mulling over, at least overthinking lately, that I was trying to escape, if that makes sense, the feelings, like trying to logic myself out of the feelings, trying to just ignore them. But it's like, no, I got to feel them to get over them, to process them. So in the best healthy way possible. So black people, black folk, know that it is okay to feel the feel, even if you don't know what the feel is. And now that that is all out of the way, at least for me, how are you doing? Niece, nephew, how has your week been? I pray it has been good, and if it is not good just yet, that God will make a way because he is the way maker. And I actually hope that y'all enjoyed the last couple episodes that we've been dropping. Auntie, I told y'all, Auntie trying to make up for lost time. So here we are. I promise I got something in the vault, and this is definitely not going to be tucked away for too long. So let's just cut on into this, shall we? Because this is what we're here for. This is one of the big reasons why we're here, and I really want to not harp on certain things, you know, to kind of just make chitty chatter. So I had to put a little bass on the end of that little bit. It's time for your auntie report. And of course, I have to start with where we are right now, with the Senate passing the bill to make Juneteenth a federal holiday. Yes, it is in the books. It is signed, sealed, and delivered. Our holiday is official. So let me just read this article, which came out the 15th of June. And it says, the Senate on Tuesday unanimously passed legislation to make Juneteenth, which celebrates the emancipation of formerly enslaved African Americans, a federal holiday. The bill, whose passage comes just days ahead of Juneteenth, which is celebrated on June 19th, still needs to pass the House, but it's a major step forward after a similar resolution had been blocked in recent years by Republican senators. This is all true. The freedom of all Americans that Texas celebrates every Juneteenth should be celebrated all across the nation, said Senator John Cornyn, whatever his name is, in Texas, the lead GOP sponsor, in a statement. He says that the passage of this bill represents a big step in our nation's journey towards equality. He thanks his colleagues in the Senate for their support and his fellow Texans who have been celebrating this important holiday for more than a century. Because yes, we have been celebrating Juneteenth for over 100 years. I believe it was, last year or the year before last was like the 100th year anniversary that Juneteenth had been a celebrated unofficial holiday. And it really is, Let me just finish reading. But it says, while Juneteenth commemorates the abolishment of slavery, the date isn't a reference to the end of legal slavery in the United States, but to the time when enslaved people in Texas learned of their freedom. So essentially, kind of just get around about real quick about that, is when the Emancipation Proclamation passed, 1860, whatever, when it passed, there were certain states that applied to first, where the slaves in those states got the notification that they were free first. And that was usually the states on the East Coast, the states of the South, most of the states close to the Mississippi Delta, like Florida and stuff like that, they were notified. But states in the Midwest and the South towards the Gulf were really, really late, and slavery was still going on. So by the time the word got back, this is after the war, this is after, this is after Lincoln's assassinated and after the war, finally, Finally, the decision is actually not even the decision, but the knowledge is given to Texas as a state that the Emancipation Proclamation was passed. I believe it was 3 years prior to they were notified, and that there was no more slavery in the state. So Texas was actually, if I'm not mistaken, one of the last states to emancipate their slaves. And so this is extremely important. The commemoration of it is extremely, extremely notable. And if we can even think to give people the day off for Columbus Day, and Columbus didn't do shit for this country, he literally got lost and he was an asshole and he was dumb. We deserve to actually celebrate the people of this country who sacrificed and died and fought for this land and were buried in the land and were still treated as if we were never ever here, including the indigenous people of this country as well. I believe instead of Christopher Columbus Day, it should be Indigenous Peoples Day, and that should be a federal holiday. That should be the federal holiday, that anything commemorating him or the genocide that he orchestrated in this country should absolutely be gone. Just like we were moving all these other little statues of these people that couldn't get over the fact that they lost the war and they could not keep their slaves. We're not taking up with this nonsense no more either. So if you're in the spirit of wanting to celebrate Juneteenth, according to Essence, there is a couple of things that there are 17 documentaries, movies, and specials to watch for Juneteenth. So if you want to feel a little bit blackity black, I already gave a recommendation about High on the Hog, and of course this is on the list, but let's just go through the list that they recommended. So they recommended a documentary called Boiling Point. It's on I cannot talk today. Boiling Point. It's on the Smithsonian Channel, and the Smithsonian Channel will air episodes of the CBS News special produced series called Boiling Point, which is a 6-part immersive documentary series that re-examines America's troubled history of systematic racism and police brutality over the decades. The program will be running Saturday, June 19th from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. So it's only for one day, and it is also going to include a series of powerful original video essays to commemorate Juneteenth. Of course, y'all know I'm not going to go through all 17 of these options, but we're going to go through a couple of them. Monster, which is on Netflix. I heard a couple of mixed reviews about it. I still haven't even watched it, but it says that it's adapted from the young adult novel written by Walter Dean Myers. The film follows 17-year-old honors student Steve Harmon, who's played by Kelvin Harrison Jr., who gets charged with felony murder and faces a gruesome legal battle that may result in life behind bars. Other cast members on this movie are A$AP Rocky, Jennifer Hudson, John David Washington, and Jarrell Jerome. There's another, there's one called It's a Wonderful Plight. It's on all streaming services. And this is a film that unapologetically addresses gentrification, systemic racism, excessive police force, the Tulsa Black Wall Street, and more through the lens of hip-hop and cultural consciousness. That sounds interesting. It'll be worldwide on June 15th. Oh, so this already came out. Okay, excellent. Selma, of course we know. 13th, of course we know. I Am Not Your Negro, of course we know. We can throw in there American Son, When They See Us, What Happened, Miss Simone. These are things that we know of that we actually, I feel like in our community, we're starting to just cherish them more. There's another one I saw on it's coming out for Amazon Prime. It's called Whose Streets, and it's created from the perspective of activists and leaders. This Sabaha Faloyan directed documentary features raw footage from the 2014 Ferguson protests following the murder of 18-year-old Michael Brown. So that might be really interesting. And this one I found, I might actually watch this because one of my favorites is in it. Mr. Lawrence Fishburne is in a movie called Madiba. It's on BET Plus, and it says that the miniseries starring Emmy Award-winning and Oscar-nominated Blackish actor Lawrence Fishburne, or those of us who know him as Morpheus or Ike, you understand? Follows Nelson Mandela's stoic leadership in 3-part, 6-hour presentation based on Mandela's autobiographies, conversations with myself, and Nelson Mandela by himself. The series was produced in both Johannesburg and Cape Town, South Africa. So we are totally here for the celebratory movies, documentaries, and docuseries and all other kind of stuff that is bringing into full awareness the beauty of Juneteenth. And you know, I'm all the way here for us as a culture, as a society. I'm all the way here for us lifting up those voices that have really been shoved under our feet for hundreds of years and have never been thought that they're important enough for us to listen to. So thank you for those that decided to pass the bill. We was going to celebrate the day whether or not y'all decided to make an official federal holiday. I don't know if that means now I can get paid to be off on Friday, but I'm going to ask my boss. I'm going to ask him. But like, hey, so Juneteenth was officially made a federal holiday. Do we have that off? Because it's not on the calendar of events. But moving right on along. So we already spoke about before the situation that happened with Simone Biles and honestly, not even just her, from Naomi Osaka to the conversations and comments that have been made about Serena and Venus. Like, honestly, black women in athletics and professional athletics, it seems like there's nothing right we can ever do. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we really can't win. So I was on Facebook this morning and I saw in one of these groups I'm a part of, it's called like the Pantsuit Nation or whatever, like one of those things. One of the sisters in the group, she put on I literally had to print it out. She put, "One more time for the cheap seats. The rules always change when white mediocrity is hit with black excellence. I have no sympathy for the mostly white gymnasts who can't do what Biles does. Same way I didn't have sympathy for folks who couldn't reach Michael Jordan's level or Usain Bolt's or Muhammad Ali's." So there was an updated article that came out, I believe, on Salon.com that talked about how essentially, Simone Biles, instead of being praised for her feats that are deemed impossible, she's punished for it. So I'll read y'all real brief what the article talks about. It says, last week, ahead of the long-delayed Tokyo Olympics this summer, Simone Biles performed a new move at the U.S. Classic, the Yurchenko double pike, captured in a tweet below. The Olympic gold medalist is widely recognized as the greatest gymnast in the world, and her historic delivery of yet another never-been-done-before move shows us this reputation is well-earned. Per the New York Times, the Yurchenko double pike is so perilous and challenging that no other woman has attempted it in competition, and is unlikely that any woman in the world is even willing to give it a try. That's a quote. That's what's per the New York Times, okay? So this is the next portion of the actual article that the sister included in her post on the group on Facebook. Excuse me. And it says, however, the under-evaluation of Biles' performance by judges is bringing attention yet again to how the athlete has repeatedly been punished rather than rewarded for her greatness, and the double standards applied to reception to her performances. Specifically, Biles' execution of the Yurchenko double pike for her vault routine was given a provisional score of 6.6, similar to her scores for other vaults, and without any additional points for or acknowledgement of the near impossible difficulty of the move. So let's just put this here. What she did was nearly impossible, so difficult, so hard, so challenging that nobody else would have even thought to try it. So let's put in mind that Simone didn't just get on that vault, didn't just out of her mind decide that, I'm going to try and do the Yurchenko double pike today. No, baby girl has been practicing, conditioning, and disciplining herself to do that successfully and not hurt herself. And even if what seemed as impossible for others to do, listen, just because you ain't called to do it don't mean you ain't qualified. The girl is gifted. She's the best gymnast in the world. She's out of your league, everybody. I'm sorry. There's no need to compete with her. We talked about in the other article how 3 out of the 4 events of that pre-qualifier, she won. 3 of the 4, walking away with the top prize. She won. Simone Biles is the best. Sis even said in the article that going to Tokyo for the Olympics may be one of her last competitions. Why? Because, bitch, what else do I have to prove at this point? Why am I here? The girl got millions of dollars of endorsements. She got millions of dollars from her awards. She is Simone Biles, the GOAT. She is only, 23, 24, something like that. Her name is bells. It ain't ringing bells. Her name is the bells that ring. So I don't feel bad, and I identify with my sister. I don't feel bad that y'all sitting here talking about, listen, let me just read the rest, because ain't nobody feeling bad that white people are incompetent and incapable. I don't care. I'm not saying this in a supremacist type of way, but black people are the shit. We're lit. Everything we do is fucking lit. We don't have to try hard at shit for nothing. We don't have to put extra effort into nothing. A lot of us are naturally gifted, and we make everything look the fuck good. But we're also extremely hardworking. We're extremely diligent. We're extremely persistent. We don't give up on shit, because that's what this country has taught us. Y'all motherfuckers are mad. Y'all are so pressed that we're better than you, and you literally brought us here in the first place because we're better than you. We've always been stronger than you. We've always had more endurance than you. We've always had more stamina than you. You captured us for those exact reasons, because y'all didn't have the stamina or the skin to stay in the sun and pick rice, cotton, and all that other good nonsense. So the fact of the matter stands, you're mad at your own incompetencies. Blame your genes. Don't blame me. All right, but let's keep going. This has happened to Biles before in other routines through the years, as she executes moves that no other female gymnasts have attempted or completed. Gymnastic routines are judged and scored based on their execution and difficulty. But rather than recognize or reward Biles' exceedingly difficult routines and moves with the added points they deserve for their difficulty, judges have often undervalued her performances that include historic completion of new moves. This is not the first time Sis has done this, and we know that. Why? She's the GOAT. The rationale for this scoring has often been that there are safety risks for other gymnasts who aren't able to complete the moves that Biles is, if her moves are rewarded with high scores and other gymnasts are then motivated to try them. So we gonna just ignore the saying that everybody grew up with, like your mama said, if your friends jump off a bridge, are you gonna go jump off the bridge? No, you're not gonna go jump off the bridge. So just because other gymnasts see that Simone is doing this stuff, listen, you never know until you try. She don't have to be the only person that can perform the Yurchenko double pike, but as of right now, she's the only one that has successfully completed it. And because of how difficult it is, and because of how hard it is, nobody else in this majority white fucking sport wants to try it. Get the fuck out of here. I don't feel bad for you, because y'all what? You mad because you suck? Anyway. Oh, Biles' talent has also been criticized as somehow being unfair. Let me rewind that back in case y'all didn't hear that. Her talent. That's not taught. Her talent. It's not something that's trained. Her talent has also been criticized as somehow being unfair to other gymnasts for her ability to do what others can't. Something that's often celebrated and glorified for white or male athletes. For example, Michael Phelps, a swimmer who's won more Olympic medals than anyone in history and is also a pothead, is widely recognized and beloved as the greatest swimmer of our time, despite, let's be clear, Michael Phelps is big as fuck. This nigga is big. It's not fair. That is not fair. Him being as big as he is, his competition ain't the same. People going up against him ain't nowhere near on his caliber. He's huge. He's huge. Immense built-in advantages, including not just the size and proportions of his body, but how his body produces half the amount of lactic acid of the average person, which decreases his fatigue and sharply increases his recovery time. So this man is already level fucking mutant in the water, but he's revered as one of the best Olympic swimmers of our time. Why? Because he's a big ass white man, that's who he is? Don't get me wrong, and even Simone has talked about this. She's very small, so that does make a lot of moves easy for her to do because of her lower center of gravity. But that also works against her. You understand? Where some moves would be easier for her to do, like some of her counterparts who have maybe longer limbs. Okay? So let's not fucking do this. Y'all are just mad that Simone Biles, a little black girl from the hood that trained her for her whole life, that her family has supported her whole life, that everybody collectively, including the culture, is backing her. Y'all are mad that she's not a little white girl. So y'all can go the fuck ahead somewhere. Y'all can go the fuck ahead somewhere. Nobody feels bad. And this was a comment from, I'm going to go back to the article. But this was a comment from the, here we go, from the Facebook post. It's a moderator comment. It says, as is necessary with posts that require close moderation, we will be closing this overnight. To my fellow white people in the comments, there is always a knee-jerk reaction when institutional racism is highlighted for us to see. Many immediately seek to find an alternative explanation, seeking to deflect from the truth about our nation. But in doing so, we only serve to perpetuate it. Like all systems in America, the world of athletics is one that clearly constructs roadblocks when confronted with black excellence. We see it with Simone Biles, who receives a lower score for an element that her white contemporaries cannot complete. We saw it with Surya Bonale. This is the lady I was talking about in the last episode when I was talking about this. A black figure skater who was absolutely brilliant on the ice, but who faced the same barriers as a result of the color of her skin. We saw it with Caster Semenya, who faced transphobic accusations that she was secretly a man as a result of her stellar athletic ability. We see it every time Venus or Serena Williams faces harsh commentary and actions that their white counterparts are never subjected to. This is institutional racism, and the more that we as white people deflect from it, the longer we ensure it is around. It's time for us, when black voices are speaking, to step back and listen rather than the perpetual attempts to discredit a lived experience we could never understand or recognize, given we are shielded from it as a result of our white privilege. As a result of our white privilege. And they still don't want to teach critical race theory to kids in school. But you want me to not feel a way about my kid playing sports with this person and they feeling like that this kid don't deserve the best. Let me go back to reading the rest of the article from Salon.com, where it says, in other words, on a technical and cultural levels, Biles, a young black woman, is being punished and subjected to undeniably racist and sexist double standards for her greatness. After all, and again, this is where the comment comes back, after all, we've seen some form of this before for other black women athletes. We just said her name, Caster Semenya, a South African two-time Olympic champion runner, was literally barred from competing in women's sports last year unless she agreed to take medication to lower her naturally high levels of testosterone. When black women athletes work hard and go above and beyond, they're treated with suspicion, as if they're somehow being dishonest, as if their success is a detriment to others that should be punished, restricted, and prevented rather than encouraged. Let's see. Since her post-Yurchenko double pike snub over the weekend, Biles has criticized this judging, but has mostly just been celebrating her phenomenal achievement, as she fucking should. Bitch, ain't nobody listening to these fucking haters. Fuck them. She said they're both too low and they don't even know it. She said they're both too low and they even know it. Hold on. She said they're both too low and they even know it, but they don't want the field to be too far apart. And that's just something that's on them. That's not on me. Biles told the New York Times about the low scoring of her new moves. In a tweet on Monday, she also expressed her continued, shockingly writing, say, I'm sorry, but I can't believe I competed a double pike on a vault. Miss Simone, you are the GOAT, and we paid the haters absolutely no mind whatsoever. So moving right on along in our auntie report, because that was enough time that I actually didn't want to waste on it, because I kind of want to talk about real quick, today that I'm recording this, later on what's happening is going to be the verses between Eve and Trina. If I'm not mistaken, that was absolutely scheduled for today. Who's that girl? Na 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 na. Eve's that girl. Na 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 na. And I'm gonna just leave it at that one. But going right along, where have I been, y'all? For real. Cuba Gooding Jr. got 30 women accusing him. When it was Cosby. After, when it was like 5, we was like, they probably lying. They not telling the truth. And then that number just kept going up. And we was like, ain't no way in hell all these women is lying. But I wouldn't be surprised. But now it's Cuba. It's Mr. Cuba Gooding Jr. It's Mr. Radio. It's Mr. Radio, y'all. But Cuba Gooding Jr., this article came out, I want to say, actually, this is like old, but this article is an update from the situation that's been going on, I guess, since last year, August of last year, these accusations started. But in this one in particular, it says Cuba Gooding Jr. is the latest male actor faced with a string of misconduct cases. The Hollywood A-lister has earned a reputation for being a party boy and a womanizer, something that has not helped persuade people to believe he's innocent. Despite this, he seems to maintain that he's done no wrongdoing, so much so that he has not showed up for court in regards to a recent case. This one, you got money. This money. You ain't going to court. I don't know no black man that's not going to make his court appointment, but let's go. One woman has accused Cuba Gooding Jr. of groping her at a New York City nightclub back in 2018. Due to Gooding failing to respond to the complaint for over a year, she reported that she won a default judgment against him. The woman, Natasha Ashworth, claims Gooding groped her backside while she was a server at Tao Restaurant and Nightclub. TMZ obtained security footage that backs these claims up. Damn, Cuba, I wasn't going with it, but this proof, my guy. Two separate camera angles show the actor appearing to make contact with Ashworth's rear end. After he initially touched, a visibly upset Ashworth can be seen getting into a heated exchange with the Oscar winner. Court documents state that Ashworth told Gooding not to touch her there. She alleges that he responded, "Oh, that's no fun, and I didn't. I touched your back." So, of course, I had to do a little bit more research for y'all, and I found this article that came from CNN, which says that prosecutors say 30 women have come forward with groping accusations against Cuba Gooding Jr. And this is what came out in August of 2020, where it said that the Manhattan prosecutors in Cuba Gooding Jr.'s groping case said in court Thursday that more women have come forward with accusations of unwanted touching by the Oscar-winning actor, bringing the total number of women to come forward to 30. The prosecution and defense clashed over whether defense attorneys could question a victim ahead of the trial about statements she's made in the past about her breast size and sexual preferences, among other testimony. Gooding faces 3 counts of forcible touching and 3 counts of sex abuse to the 3rd degree in separate incidents involving 3 different women in New York. He pleaded not guilty to all charges and denies any wrongdoing. I had to bring it up just because I feel like it was one of those, ones through the cracks. But I don't know, really. I don't think he's been charged with anything because this man, I don't know, maybe he just settling out at this point and he just divvying up everything, because I ain't heard really much about this at all, which is why I'm so surprised about it. But I'm not standing by anybody violating nobody's body. Like, I don't care if you got an Oscar. I don't care if you got Grammys. I don't really care what your titles say. Those titles do not give reference or revere for you to violate somebody's boundaries. And, men that get money, power, and status that never might have had it before, if he's already considered a womanizer and a party boy, I can only imagine. But I don't want to judge him. Just like I didn't want to judge Cosby. But even when I found out that Cosby didn't want to take the classes, he didn't want to take the classes to be able, like the sexual predator classes or whatever. He had to take some kind of classes, and I think it would have got him on parole or would have lowered his sentence or whatever. And he said no, because he felt like that would incriminate him in saying, like, essentially saying that he did it. And it's like, well, those two don't necessarily have to coincide. I mean, if you want to go home and they saying you got to take this class to go home, otherwise you sit here for the rest of your life. I just can't see myself at 80-something. I mean, and he's sick already. I don't know. We're not going to get into that. But just to kind of put y'all up on that, radio got a touching problem. Radio got a touching problem. And we gonna keep Brother Gooding in prayer, because if he did it, and this is why I be like, if he did it, because, I mean, when I shit, it ain't even a if. They got it on 2 different cameras. Gooding, you need to go to jail. I can't. I'm sorry. Brother man, you got to go to jail. Brother man from the 3rd floor, not even 5th floor. Brother man from the 3rd floor, you got to go to jail. Got to take you out. But the next thing on our actual report today, I found this so interesting. And let me just give clarity real quick. I had a obsession with this woman as an artist when she first came out, Chrisette Michele. Oh, I love me some Chrisette Michele. You couldn't tell me nothing about the woman of A Couple of Forever's. You couldn't tell me about the woman in my mind that's going to sing at my wedding as I walk down the aisle and for my first dance. You know what I mean? Couldn't tell me nothing. And then 2016 came around and she sang at the Peach Pump inauguration services, and the world of the black world blew up. We blew up. We didn't know what to do, because Chrisette was like, she was the one person in the world we would have been like, what the fuck? Like, Chrisette of all fucking people, like, what, bitch, where did they find you? But a lot of people were very so harsh and so cruel to her. And she was under a lot of stress. Like, I remember following up with a lot of interviews that she did from that time. And she was saying how because of the stress and everything that she actually, like, miscarried. And she was just, like, really, really badly depressed and everything. But it's been 5 years from that. And she recently had a very great interview with this gentleman on his YouTube show called Terrell. I think it's his name. Yeah, the Terrell Show. And this is an article that talks about that, where essentially she says that she realizes it was the wrong thing to do. Chrisette Michele opened up about being canceled after performing during inauguration and why she believes Travis Green didn't receive backlash. So let's just go through this article real quick. So the article starts and says, Chrisette Michele's career undoubtedly took a hit following her invite acceptance of an eventual performance at Donald Trump's 2016 inauguration, despite the fact that she wasn't the only black star to be seen around or perform for the former president. The Grammy Award winner not only faced verbal criticism from the black community, but she also lost several job opportunities in the aftermath. So, again, stress. The singer-songwriter often has spoken about her decision to perform at Trump's inauguration. However, during a recent interview with Terrell for his YouTube channel, the Epiphany songstress reflected on that moment, which she said was the wrong thing to do, but she raised the question, too, about another artist and his performance. The 38-year-old questioned why gospel singer Travis Green didn't receive the same response as she did. She says, she's quoted with saying, "My question has always been, what was Travis Green's intention? Because his album became #1. Were we singing his song? Did he start the first verse? Was I singing backup and with a choir that still sings to this day? I just want to know why no one saw them." Mama Michelle, heard you, shorty. You absolutely right. Why the fuck did y'all pick her out to cancel? Not even y'all. Why did we pick her out to cancel her? And not any of the other black people that was up there. If we gonna cancel every black person that was there for the inauguration, that participated, performed, responded, whatever, we canceling everybody. When fucking Steve Harvey went up there and kissed the president on the forehead or whatever the fuck, when all of them went up there, we know who went and who didn't go to meet with President Trump. We know everybody, okay? They didn't get canceled. Steve Harvey is up for a fucking Emmy Award for Family Feud and shit like that. Like, that, nobody received that. No black man received the same gump and umption and all that other loudness that Chrisette Michele did. Or even, this is why I brought it up, because of the recent episode that we talked about with Monique and the tone of treatment that she got in comparison with Dave Chappelle. And when he asked us, his fans, to boycott the Dave Chappelle show on Netflix, we listened, and then the Chappelle show turned around, Netflix turned around and gave him his rights, gave him his money and everything else. But Monique, who's an Oscar winner, who has all these first things in front and behind her name, who still to this day has a syndicated TV show since 1993, and it's never gone off the air, also known as The Parkers, was only offered $500,000. And there was no room for conversation to even move that up to 1.2. You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, what are we really talking about here? This is a beautiful article, I promise you. So the host Terrell offered his own suggestion, highlighting that there is a difference in tone in how we treat our black men and our black women. He added, I mean, some of our prominent black men can go and kiss 45 on the head, and we're still winning Grammys, and we're calling him the greatest of all time. It's a problem for me. Keep it consistent. Be consistent if we're going to do it. Just like I said to Mama Mo, they don't value us. They've never valued us. We were taught to not value each other. So the consistency across the board with treatment, unless black men start opening their mouth as loud as black women do when we quote unquote canceling somebody. Because you notice how when anybody want to cancel, when somebody getting canceled, they looking at black Twitter and they looking at what black women is saying. So if we cancel that person, we cancel them, everybody else cancel them. If we don't cancel them, nobody else is going to cancel them. That's exactly what happened. Travis Green didn't get canceled because of black women not canceling him. Had black women canceled him, he would have been canceled. It's that simple. You know what I mean? But the article goes on to say, meanwhile, Michelle doubted gender bias, though there has been instances where black men have been able to accomplish seemingly controversial things while women were met with pushback. Comedian actress Monique recently pointed to an example of her attempt, like he said, to boycott Netflix after she claimed she was paid far less than white comedians and black male comedians despite her longevity in the industry. Fast forward. Still, Michelle saw the incident as a teachable moment, telling Terrell that it was in that moment she learned how petrified she was of rejection. She continued to say, my mistake in my personal growth journey with the inauguration was wanting to be seen as a good person. And when you are trying to be validated, you will quickly be rejected because people notice when you are wanting to be a part of something, okay? They may not realize that's the subconscious of who you are, but they can see the insecurity. So you can't stand on that stage insecure. So the difference between me and Travis was he was very secure and I was petrified because I was trying to be something and he already was. I get where she's coming from. I hear that message, but I also, it's because you're a black sis. It's because you're black. It's because you're a black woman. I guarantee. But there's something in that interview, and you guys should absolutely go watch it. It's on YouTube. I believe the name of the YouTube channel is The Terrell Show. Beautiful young black man. Absolute amazing interview. I love their candid and camp conversation. And in the interview, he asked her, what's one last thing that you would want to say to people to kind of set this whole thing to bed and let this whole thing go to rest. And she basically was in the line of saying, and I wrote it down, quoted saying, I'm designing my life. It's a very creative endeavor. To the rug you put in your room, to what you put in your smoothies, to what you put in your closet, to where you want the part in your hair. Every word that I say, I am crafting in the expertise of my experience, in the wisdom of what I've been through. I'm designing my life, and I'm meticulous about it. So I find it so beautiful and humbling, and I give Miss Chrisette Michele all of her props and kudos for going through the process of rejection, for going through the process of hibernation, for going through the process of new acceptance of who she is and new acceptance in who she is, and then moving still in her purpose with a different sense of motivation and intention. And there was something that she said as well that I'm definitely gonna leave y'all with, and this is a Auntie Michele, Auntie Chrisette, for real, but this is something I heard it and I was like, I feel like I should get that as a tattoo. But she said, people will rush you to evolve, and evolving takes time, so you gotta give it a minute. Give yourself a minute. You got to give yourself a minute. That was a word spoken to me, to myself, that I needed to share with y'all. And so while I still have y'all here, something real brief I want to talk about. I promise I'm not going to spend much energy on it, just because it don't ruffle my feathers enough that I feel like it's a problem. But a lot of people seem to be having issues with the fact that Wendy Williams shot her shot at Gary Owens on her show. To go on a date to go get something to eat with him, and he is newly divorced, from his recent divorce with his wife of over 18 years. And if we don't know, Gary Owens is the white male comedian. He's funny. I find some of his content funny. I find a lot of what he used to do back in the day was based on the fact that he was married to a black woman, and drawing the parallels between being a white man married to a black woman and kind of like being welcomed into the black space. So I found his comedy interesting, and it always kind of in the back of my mind made me ponder, like, if I ever dated a white boy, like, would this be what I would have to go through? But I don't have the patience for that. But either way, him and his wife divorced, and things got messy. Sis called him a deadbeat dad on Instagram and everything. Let me go to that, because I had that as an article real quick. Hold on. So Gary's, it was an article that came out. I believe this was on TMZ. Where did I pull this from? I want to say I pulled this from TMZ. I pulled it from somewhere. But it says in the title, "It was necessary to address your lies. Gary Owens' estranged wife, Kenya Duke, hits back at the comedian's remarks during Wendy Williams' interview." So this article came out on the 15th, and it says that Gary Owens' estranged wife, Kenya Duke, addressed the comedian's claims about their pending divorce, Owens' deadbeat father response, his friendship with Claudia Jordan, and many more topics on June 11th, Friday, following his recent interview on the Wendy Williams show. It says Owens made a guest appearance to promote his latest film, The House Next Door, Meet the Blacks 2. Duke, Mrs. Kenya, she took to Instagram, his ex-wife, to write a 5-page letter. Sis, you hurt and you got a lot of time. 5-page letter directly to Owen, expressing how highly irritated she was about the entire situation. The mother of three started by saying, "Gary, while I am not pressed, I am highly irritated. I was shocked. You spent most of your time talking about me, the divorced son and daughter. If the streets are that good to you, then why waste that opportunity and not talk about upcoming projects?" The 46-year-old also pointed out a few other things, including Williams' flirtatious nature towards Owen as the daytime television host asked him out on a date during the interview. Duke also asked Owen why Claudia Jordan was deeply involved in their divorce announcement, although the Think Like a Man star claimed that he and Jordan are just friends. "Your priority yesterday was defending irrelevant Claudia. Claudia is the most invested person in this divorce and the first to comment why. She's a good friend to you, not me. Stop saying y'all staying quiet. Stop saying y'all staying quiet. You feed Claudia the information you want out." So Kenya is over it. Kenya is absolutely over it. I'm still reading the article. She further went in the post saying that she reiterated her previous deadbeat father allegations against her estranged husband, despite the couple's 2 children being over 18 years old. Owen and Duke share a son, Austin Owen, 21, and an 18-year-old daughter named Kennedy Owen. Duke listed the countless times Owen has failed to make an effort to see or spend time with his children. One instance she claimed occurred earlier this year when the comedian bailed at the last minute after making plans with his child. She claimed the reasoning behind his cancellation was because his comedy show was canceled when it wasn't. Duke also added that although Owen has a set schedule for his days off, which is Monday through Wednesday, he hasn't seen either kid in 6 months. She closed out the statement by saying Owen doesn't have a healthy relationship with his children, despite what he said in his interview to clean up his image. Listen, I promise I'm not going to spend more time on that because we do have to get to our talk topic. But I just want to say to our black women, especially to Miss Kenya, I don't know if this is like a Tory Hart situation, all due respect to Miss Tory Hart, where now that shit has blown up and you used to be married to this person that you're trying to make a name for yourself based on the name of him. So I don't really understand, and I don't feel like there's any respect in that you air out your dirty laundry trying to embarrass him on Instagram and social media. Like, you wrote a 5-page letter on Instagram because you felt it was necessary to put your 2 cents into something that nobody really cared about what you were going through. Like, honestly, you should be focusing on healing from the divorce. Y'all were together for 18 years. It's very obvious, mama, that you're bitter. It's very obvious, mama, that you're unhappy. It's very obvious. It's very, very obvious, because I don't know how for 18 years this man was able to be the most dedicated, devoted father and provider and all this other good stuff. And the moment y'all break up, now he a deadbeat dad and everything else. And both y'all children is fucking grown. Your son is 21, your daughter's 18. Those are both grown-ass adults where now their relationship with their father falls in between them two, and it has nothing to do with the mother. And this is something I started to think about, recently. Like, yes, we love our mothers, and we would never want to think that they would be the ones that would be the fucking toxic one in the relationship. But this is toxic-ass behavior. Like, I don't understand. Like, why are you so pressed? Why are you so upset? I mean, I can get it if you feel some type of way that it's Claudia Jordan or it's Wendy Williams. You know what I mean? Because then it's always this situation where we as women will play the unnecessary compare and contrast game where we're like, oh, well, look at her. Like, I ain't even pressed over her. Like, she ain't even all that. Da, da, da. Wendy, and I will say this again, Wendy Williams is a fucking catch. She's always been a fucking catch. Just because a lot of people don't find her attractive, Wendy Williams has conversation. She's intelligent. She's smart. She can hold her own in any room she step into. Mama got her own fucking money, has always had her own fucking money. Even when she was married to Kevin was her manager and she was making money before Kevin came along. Let's be clear on that. So, shorty, if you upset that it was Wendy Williams that shot her shot, baby, the court is open. Like, anybody could throw their fucking ball in that basket. If it land, it land. If it don't catch it on the rebound, lay it up. Like, what's going on? Like, you mad about a man that's no longer yours. That's your ex-husband. You are separated. Y'all are no longer together. Y'all are divorced. And people coming at Wendy all kind of crazy, like, oh, was it appropriate for her to shoot her shot on her fucking television show? What don't y'all understand? Syndicated. Wendy's show ain't never went off the air. Even in its periods where she took a break, the show never left the air. Mama don't gotta ask permission from nobody for what she do on her show, that she ain't never asked permission from nobody for what she wanted to do on her show. And if she wanted to ask Gary Owens out on a date for a good fucking time, then so be it. At the end of the day, mama, no, I'm Wendy Williams. So if you tell me no, baby, that's on you. You're gonna one day sit back and say, yo, I really told Wendy Williams no on a date. And it wasn't like she was thirsty about it. She was like, we should go out to eat. I know this great place. You're going to you're going to melt at the food. Wendy is a foodie. I don't always agree with Mama Wendy, but Wendy is a foodie. And bitch, if I'm going to melt at the food, I'm going to melt at the food. Take me there. You ain't even got to talk to me. Just show me what I need to get to order. You understand? But to Mama Duke, I'm going to pray for her healing. To Mr. Owens, man, you single now. Be careful, because the biddies is going to come for you. They open. They looking. People's looking for sugar daddies this summer. You better be careful. And now, because y'all, it's time before I let y'all go, the talk topic is officially happening. So I saw this on Instagram, and I didn't even know that there was an actual article for it. But I saw it on Instagram, and instantly my mind wanted to ask, and I've been asking the question, how toxic is too toxic? At what point do we press charges for the toxic shit that people do in relationships when they're upset. Men and women. I'm talking about damaging personal property. I'm talking about destroying personal property. I'm talking about bodily harm. I'm talking about, when do we recognize that this is a toxic fucking person, that we do not need to be associated with this person at fucking all in any way, shape, or form. And because of the level of dramatics and antics that they're willing to go to, we need to pull all the way back. And I know y'all saw it on Instagram about the woman that took revenge to finding out her boyfriend was texting another female or whatever, and she put Nair in the fucking conditioner, and this man had dreads. Now, I'm not saying there's a difference in making anything bad, but I watched this video. This woman had time to stop herself from doing what she was doing, but she was so damn determined because she felt like she needed to be vindicated that she took it into her own hands. So this is the actual article. It says, a woman took revenge to new levels after finding out her boyfriend has been texting other women. These days, people are finding new and disturbing ways to punish their partners, and many they seem to find the need to document it for social media. See what I'm saying? Like, why the fuck would you record yourself doing something illegal and put it on social media? Anyway, she took to TikTok to tell her followers about her recent antics to get back at her man and the sad conclusion of their relationship following it. Yesterday, we reported on a Wisconsin woman who decided to set flames to her... What? This the same damn story? This the same story. Okay. Oh, no, it's not the same. This is about another lady. Okay. They reported on a Wisconsin woman who decided to set flames to her husband's head shortly after an argument ended and him deciding to break up with her. CBS News reported that Tashanti Marie Smith, 29, is facing various charges after the incident that occurred in her home in the Indirus Park neighborhood of Milwaukee. The incident took place in the early hours of June 4th. While her boyfriend, Henry Williams, was asleep, Smith filled up a cup with lighter fluid and poured it on his head while he slept before setting flames. She told authorities that she did it because she believed he poisoned her chicken wings. She also confessed to have some mental health issues and taking some pills hours before committing the crime. Y'all, this wasn't even the fucking story I started on. What the fuck? Bitch. Williams woke up when he realized that his head was on fire and tried to put out the fire with his bare hands. He then rushed out of the bed and went to his 3-month-old daughter's bedroom, grabbing the baby and fleeing out of the house. He was eventually rushed to a local hospital with severe burns to his chest, head, ears, hands, face, and neck. Wait a minute. So he thought the house was on fire when his head was on fire. And first of all, that's a father. His instant reaction was to save the baby. Y'all baby ain't but 3 months old. And you thought mental health in the black community is a crisis. It's a crisis. Sis thought he poisoned her chicken wings. Why the fuck would you think somebody poisoned your chicken wings, sis? Why would you think that? Why would you think that? You know what I'm saying? Why? Why would you think that? But back to the article itself, actually. The TikTok user under the account I Am Need a Baby posted the disturbing video to her profile 3 days ago and currently has almost 60K views. In it, she said she found her man texting other women. To get back at him, she offered to shampoo and condition his dreads. But instead of actual shampoo, she used Nair hair removal. She documented the full process, showing his head in the sink and the dreads starting to come out after 3 minutes of leaving the product in. The video abruptly cuts to the woman sitting in front of a picture of a bald man. She expresses her remorse and details how he has not spoken to her since the incident. This reminds me of, I watch a lot of old lady TV shows. This reminds me of an episode of, what's it called? Divorce Court. Is it Divorce Court? I want to say it's Divorce Court. Nah, not Judge Lynn. It was another judge, the white lady judge, but she talked like Judge Lynn. Damn, I can't remember her name. But this couple came in, and they come in and come to find out. So they come in or whatever, right? And, you know, I'm not going to go on looks or nothing like that. But the guy, he's a very handsome guy. And he comes in and he's telling the judge, you know, how his ex-girlfriend at the time, not even just ex-girlfriend, ex-fiance at the time, thought that he was cheating on her from like some piss poor resource of information from her friend who saw him with a woman, and they was in a way that was looking all like real cozy, real flirtatious and stuff. And so this woman, his ex-fiance at the time, like cut his hair in his sleep, and he had dreads. And she did that to get back at him or whatever. Then fast forward in the episode, the woman that the quote unquote friend saw him with, turns out it's this man's fucking cousin. So she cut this man's hair, and he had dreads, and this is where white people get the game fucked up, between locks and dreads. For a lot of people of African descent, dreads have more than just a aesthetic. It's not just what they look like. We got to go through hell and high water just to wear our hair in its natural form. So it is a spiritual tie. It is a heritage thing. It is ancestral. It has a lot to it. And so for anybody to violate, and maybe this is because I used to have dreads a long time ago, but for anybody, and I know a lot of Rastafarians and just people that are natural and love their hair and have very, very strong roots and ties and meanings to their hair. You understand? Men and women, okay? Because there are women in my family who have dreads and have had dreads for over 10 years. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. And it takes a lot of patience to grow dreads, because you're not just growing them for a year and a half and cutting them off. People have their dreads in for lifetimes, 20 plus years. Some people have their hair longer than they're in relationships and marriages. So that is a sacredty. It's not something you take away from anybody. You know what I mean? So for this woman to go the extra fucking mile, like, first of all, you're petty and facetious, and you're evil and malicious at that, because you went out of your way to, rather than be mature and ask him what these messages were about, or even do some of your own investigation to find out who this mystery woman is. You understand what I'm saying? You decided to go with where the devil wanted to lead you, to ask this man if you can wash his hair. And you got to understand, when it comes down with dreads, everybody ain't putting their fingers in your head. That's on period, point blank. So I'm almost positive the thought never even crossed his mind that she would do anything to his hair. Of all fucking things she could fuck with, she might put some laxative in his food. She might do all other kind of stuff, but she not gonna touch his hair. So you abuse the trust that he had, Delilah, for his hair. You put Nair in the conditioner, and we know with conditioner, you gotta let conditioner sit for a second, right? You put the conditioner in his hair, and then you let it process. Because with Nair, you got to let Nair sit and process, because it's literally melting the hair follicles. So you put it in, and I mean, this lady doused this man's hair in this shit and like scrubbed it and put it in like it was really fucking conditioner, and then rinsed it out. But the video cut after that. So I wonder if he picked his head up and as she was rinsing it out, if he felt burning, because I fucking know when I use Nair and you let that bitch sit on too long, that shit burn. That shit burns. So I wonder if his head started to burn like it was a relaxer, like there was lye in it. You know what I mean? If that was happening, when he got up and when she finished rinsing it off, I said to myself, I said, yo, God is really on her life, and God really got his hand on that man, because I am so surprised that she had a teeth. And then for her to make a follow-up video where he's bald. That baby is bald, like no hair, no stubble. He is bald. She balded this man who was growing dreads for probably over 10 years of his life, and because you thought he was cheating on you, not what you knew, not what you had confirmed, but because of what you saw in the phone. And it's my thing, honestly. If you with somebody that's a perpetual cheater, I'm not looking at them anymore. I'm looking at you. Why are you with somebody that can't be faithful to you? Don't you want somebody faithful to you, or you just want somebody to have somebody? Because my question then is to her, sis, what the fuck did you think was about to happen after that? Did you think that what the fuck? Now you feel bad. Get the fuck out of here. I don't believe you feel bad. I believe you feel bad because it clicked in your mind how much his hair meant to him, and you realized how fucking dramatic you were, and you also feel guilt because there's nothing you can fucking do to fix it. You can't do shit to undo that. You cannot undo that. And if he don't want to talk to you again for the rest of his natural born life, I don't blame him. In the spirit of Juneteenth, we protect our crowns from everybody. And there are wolves in sheep clothing inside of our pens, black folk, that we need to wake up to. How toxic is too toxic? Sis would be in jail. The other sister that's gone, there was a mugshot of her for setting her fucking husband head on fire. Bitch, what if he was allergic to Nair and he had an allergic reaction? That's on his head. You know what? Family, I'm going to let y'all go. In the spirit of Juneteenth, I'm going to let it go. Because that's what this black man has decided to do to move on. I pray and hope that just like with Nair, you feel what I'm saying? But I don't know if the hair follicles on top of the head are different. I pray that he can grow his hair back. And if he can't, I pray he is confirmed and confident in this new identity that may have been created for him, because this is really fucked up. Like, that was so fucked up. That's why I said I had to make it a talk topic, because my question is, how toxic is too toxic? Women, men, nephew, niece, auntie, what would you do if this was you? That's my question. If this was you, either side, whether you found out your partner was cheating on you or you thought they was cheating on you, how are you reacting? How are you responding? And on the other side, let's say you have not even dreads. This is just a personal to your personal body. You know what I mean? This is a violation of your person. What if your partner violated you in such a way that it caused physical damage to you? And what do you do? Let's put it in a scenario if you were in a long-term relationship, you just started out and you were married. I know a lot of people like, fuck it, I'm getting divorced because I'm not about to go to jail for no murder charge. I felt that. Maybe that was just me. That might have just been me. I'm going to let y'all go. Auntie is getting up out of here. Thank y'all so much for pulling up on your auntie at the house yet again. I hope you have an amazingly blessed and happy Juneteenth to you all. I love y'all so much. You have no idea how much I appreciate you. I'm going to keep pumping out this content. I might have big announcements coming up. So we'll just see. Just keep your auntie in prayer as I keep you in prayer. And, of course, always close to my heart. And I will talk to y'all in the next one.